So at the end of the last video, I was entering the Palo Duro RV park right outside of the Palo Duro Canyon. Honestly, the park isn't a destination in and of itself. It's simply a place to stay if you want to get into the canyon quickly and you can't get a campsite within the park's camping areas. That's exactly what happened to me. Or if you like ziplining, they do have a zip line there. You can, however, get a pretty nice view of the canyon. The ride from the RV park to the entrance gate took me exactly 62 seconds with no traffic, so you are right there. I arrived right around 7:30 in the morning, and while the park was open, there was no one manning the entrance gate. And of course, nothing within the canyon was yet open. That turned out to be a little bit fortuitous, as I'll explain in a bit. I did pay the $8 entrance fee later, however, but that mainly is an honor system for people who get there before the gates are actually manned. That early in the morning, the sun was brutal at times, but I did make a stop at one of the pull-offs and snap this picture. The ride from the top of the canyon to the bottom really only takes about 10 minutes or so. There are some windy spots and hairpin turns, as you would expect, but the ride was pretty easy, and clearly a lot of people with some pretty big campers are able to make it. I didn't have a map, so once I got down to the bottom of the canyon, I just used my All Trails app to find the Lighthouse Trailhead. And on the way, I did run into Mr. Turkey, who apparently is aware that in the US, we travel on the right side of the road. I finally did find the trailhead. And what's interesting is I had stopped at a different trailhead and noticed that there was a trail closed notification on the board at the trailhead. However, when I had looked at the website that morning, there was no official notice of trails being closed, even though I had noticed that there were trails closed, or all the trails were closed a few days earlier due to flooding. Anyway, you'll see the cones by the parking lot. I guess that should have been an indication. But when I walked up to the trailhead marker, there was no closed sign there. So I assumed it was open. In reality, all the trails were supposed to be closed. They just didn't get around to marking this one yet. Well, looks like this trail is going to be a tad bit muddy. The Lighthouse Trail is quite stunning, actually. It's just beautiful. You're down in the bottom of the canyon. It is very easy to follow, well marked. About 6 miles out and back, there's a 521-foot elevation gain that all comes at once when you get to the lighthouse rocks themselves. When I started the hike, it was only about 44 degrees, but clearly I realized very quickly that I was way overdressed. There was one sign in particular that warned of the dangers of overheating and the need for water. I can't actually imagine hiking this in summer. My earlier fear that the trails were going to be nothing but a muddy mess turned out to be unfounded, but I'm pretty sure the softness is the reason why the rangers wanted to close the trail to prevent any damage. I don't know what the temperature is, but it feels good in the shade. I've taken off my sweatshirt, my long sleeve t-shirt, and I'm just perfect. This is spectacular. I saw some diggings back there. I'm like, there's no bear out here. I'm gonna bring my bear spray. Mountain lion? I don't know. Wish I had my bear spray. I think those two spires up there, I think that's the lighthouse. So a little farther away than I was thinking it might be. I thought I was a little farther along, but I'll make it. we get to the base of the spires, about 3 miles in, that's when the hike starts to get a little bit more challenging as you're climbing the 500-foot elevation gain to get to the top. No shame in resting, but I'm doing in the shade on a rock before I make the final push. I feel like I'm climbing Everest, for Christ's sake. I literally hadn't seen a single person on the trail, and then Mr. Speed Demon blew by me on the way to the spires, and I ran into another gentleman from the south of Texas as well. Up we go.
I'm not ballsy enough to go there. That's a bad fall.
Oh yeah, it's not very far, but it could be nasty.
Yeah.
I'm with you. As it turns out, getting up to the ledge required a jump and a little bit of a potentially dangerous fall. None of the 5 people there decided to do it. Even though we didn't make it quite to the top, the view was spectacular. Well, I just finished the Lighthouse Trail. It was harder than I thought, actually. And I forgot to wear my cap, so I had to wear the hood on my puffer jacket, and so I wouldn't get sunburned because I forgot to put suntan lotion on. Anyway, great hike. Just a little bit under 6 miles. And a little bit more challenging than I thought, especially the scramble up to the Lighthouse Rock. But anyway, all worth it. If you get to Palo Duro, definitely do the Lighthouse Trail. Well, now that the hike is over, what do you say we take a look around, drive the loop road that goes through the canyon? You know, there's a lot of signs, and you can see some standing water that say, hey, watch out for flooded roads. I'm guessing when it rains, and it's been doing that a lot lately, that water comes shooting down the sides of the canyon into the creek beds and really just overflows all those little banks. By now it's mid-morning, and boy, there are a lot of hikers and bikers and cars traveling through. But one of the things I did want to do is check out the campsite that I couldn't get into this weekend to see how good that really looked. This would have been a nice campground. Get electric. I'd camp here for sure. For sure. Next, I wanted to do the caves hike, a short 1 mile out and back trail. And remember, at this point, I still didn't know that the trails were supposed to be closed. And it took me a little bit to find that trailhead too. I finally found the trailhead for the Caves Trail, which is only a mile. I'm gonna have a little something to drink here, some Minute Maid zero sugar mango passion juice, and a Uncrustable. These are awesome. And then I'm gonna go for that hike. I don't know if these are so much caves as they are just cutouts created by rushing water across softer dirt. Maybe there was a bigger cave that I missed somehow, but I probably wouldn't have shown that to you anyway, because as you can see, somehow the camera lens got smudged and I didn't see that, and it pretty much ruined all my film on this hike. I don't know if you can see this on film. I have a backpack probably get up there. I'm gonna try it. At least here's a clearer view of the area I took with my iPhone. You can sort of see the cave area right there in the rocks. Well, I just got done with what they call the caves hike. Very short, a mile, I think, round. There's some little caves in there. They're pretty cool. I'd do it again. Actually, no, I wouldn't. I then headed over to the trading post where they apparently have world famous burgers and trinkets to buy. I saw the horse stables, wanted to pet the ponies, and that's always fun. Truthfully, folks, I barely scratched the surface. A lot more hiking to do, although there was no way I could do that even if I wanted to. The trails were closed. By the time I left, the park was absolutely packed. Lines to get in, even late in the afternoon. Couldn't get into the main visitor center because the parking lot was totally packed. So make sure that you get a campsite here if you can. Stay close by if you can't. Get here early and enjoy the park. It's really terrific. I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, everyone, carry on. Cheers!